Good afternoon, everyone at Speed Gaming. Welcome to this broadcast of the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament 2020. We've got a very exciting matchup for you today. Thunderclaude versus saltyphry. Both of these players are 3-1, so really competitive records. They've had strong schedules so far and have put up a great showing to this point in the tournament. They're going to be facing off today with the crew here, Cheesenator, that's me, and Magius in the booth with me, as well as Crabcake's tracking. Magius, what's up?
And nothing much. It's going to be an interesting party combo. Especially since Thunder's got, all mages, and saltyphry not having a white mage might make things a little harder if a lot of the spells roll, that are red mage unlearnable.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be a big difference. Why don't you tell us a little bit about these flags here on this Volcano Week runback we've got?
Basically, the red D chest is the incentivized one in Volcano. Everything else is basically the same as it's been for the other tournaments. Starting with the ship, the early bridge. You gotta, basically you just gotta find, the canal, which will be loose, and there'll be a guaranteed 2 loose items. Also, Ordeal's Titan's Trove, Zarya, and Sages on top of the King, and the other quest NPCs are the incentives. I think I've got everything covered.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, big themes for the tournament, the Elemental Weeks, and this is our second time through the Volcano Week with that special incentive in Carrie's Dungeon. We're going to be going here soon. I've dropped the gate for the runners behind the scenes on SRL, and they'll be live on your screen shortly. Some things I'm looking forward to here in the early going is how these runners are going to route in looking for that loose canal, which is probably the most important thing to find, unless you happen across a canoe before that. So the canal, if you do not find a canoe, is going to have to be in Temple of Fiends, Matoya's Cave, Dwarf Cave, or Marsh Cave. And it's about a 50-50 to end up down in Marsh. That would be a fun, I say that with a giggle, a fun early place for our runners to be funneled because it can be somewhat difficult at the low levels. We're going to start out with the shops in Canary here. In the White Magic, we've got basically nothing. I mean, a white mage could pick up soft to save you some cash. Quake is just good enough to kill Garland and some imps and things like that, so Quake will keep us going through the early game, get us our initial kills. The chainmails in the shop, pretty cheap, going to be equipable by both the red mage and the fighter. Silver bracelets and silver armor, a little too expensive, we might not see much of that today. So the magic's not great, but it's good enough to get where we need to go, so you'll still probably see them route to Temple of Fiends first before going to Provoca.
And we've seen our vendor item, early TNT.
Softs are 633, so White Mage castable soft is like a slight save on gold, and that's about it as far as you can say for upside in that white shop. Thunder finds some imps. They're only hitting physically so far. Salty opting out of this completely, gonna go to Provoca and try to quake down some pirates, which is a fine opening as well. When you don't see cheap saving gear in the shop in Canary and you can't save outside of Temple of Fiends, it can be considered a risky opening.
I'll also add that it's looking like even with the Wizard Staff pickup, but also any of the overworld manipulation, it looks like, at least for the first 2 battles, we're not getting that much of a hero run.
Yeah, we will get a little bit more of an impression of this encounter table as we have some more time to move around the land on the seed. Thunder, meanwhile, is going to quake down some spiders to get through Temple of Fiends, while saltyphry is taking care of the pirates with the same quake spell. Thunderclaude picked up a wizard staff, which you might end up seeing sold for cash because it's a very valuable item, but on Fire Week, with Canoe already in hand,
the rod.
we might end up going to Volcano early, and Wizard Staff can confuse carry and give us a shot at a kill.
I might add that with this type of a flag set, the canoe is a lot more likely to be found earlier than anything else due to the randomizer automatically just giving you the canoe immediately gives you 3 more locations that you could have your progression be. And fade level 2.
Yeah, Fade and Heal 3. So 2 white casters are going to be able to pick that up for Thunderclaude, while saltyphry not getting much in the black magic there. Break and Zap. So the black mage not proving its worth yet. We got a Chime from Sarah, and what did the king just hand us? Slab.
Slab.
So now that we've seen our first 2 levels of magic, slight edge to Thunderclaude's party, but TBD on levels 3 and 4. And we've already seen a lot of progression, right? So Canoe being loose, A, that's 1 loose item down, B, that opens up a bunch of inner sea dungeons, and then that Chime is one of our required go mode items, as well as the Rod.
Oh, on a positive note, Pure being at level 1 as well, which Thunder actually opting to pick up, which is a actual good spell option because that and soft and you have no really good white magic. Let them, be your poison and softs for the game.
Right. He never has to buy those spell. Well, he just bought some Pures anyways, so maybe that's by habit. And TNT in the shop, I did not notice that the first time around. That's a very cheap TNT. He can actually pick that up now and take that over to the dwarves with the fetch quest. Turn in. It'll be really easy to use the canoe to route into the dwarf cave quickly.
Yep. Although I do have to say, with that early canoe, where would you be going? After seeing what you have available, where would you go?
Yeah, so I would go left and turn in the TNT here, go right, do the pirates, and then probably head down to Crescent Lake to see what the Circle of Sages have, and then make my decisions based on that. If we get a floater, we can skip the canal entirely, otherwise we need to dig it out. saltyphry catching up on the key items, got his loose canoe, so only 1 loose item left that's not the canal. That could mean runners don't aggressively look for the other loose incentive item.
I will add that I'd say saltyphry not having to go back. If he picks up the TNT, he will most likely check that and then probably head down to Elfland versus going to Circle of Sages.
Yes.
So we will probably see our first route divergence.
And an important thing to prepare before Elfland. So Elfland is going to have a lot of magic shops and a lot of expensive magic. Thunder has 3 mages to outfit. saltyphry has 2. You want to try and get enough money to get all that magic before taking a trip through town so you don't double dip all the shops. There might be some money in Dwarf Cave. saltyphry's going with the sell the wizard stick option. It wasn't worth a lot today, only sold for about 4.2k, but it will be a boost to his funds, gives him that TNT, and should be worth at least a couple of spells in the Elfland shops.
Oh, I forgot. We both completely missed the fact that Invis 1 was at level 1 as well. No, it was at level 2, so worst case, they have at least a single cast version of that if they really need it.
Yeah, in an emergency scenario, it's nice to be able to have access to some kind of evasion stacking for late fiend fights. So both runners have opted out of Matoya. I think with Canoe available early, that's a good idea. You're not desperate to find the canal, and you can save Matoya potentially until you have a crystal to avoid a double dip.
Very true, unless the seed decides to give them their second loose in Matoya, but that's doubtful.
Yeah, that would be very cheeky. So it looks like they're both going to pick up some of these overworld fights here, use these instant kills, which are very effective against the low magic defense enemies early, to just get a handful of levels here. The white and black mages will get charges at level 5 for level 3 magic.
Nothing really much from the dwarf, although that cabin will at least help a little bit as far as saving them a tiny bit of money so they can not have to buy some safe items. And ooh, there's the Oxyel.
Wow. So once we get the canal or the floater, we can actually get to a lot of other dungeons. Like we can do all of Sea Shrine after that. We could do all of Earth after that. And we could get through half of Sky. So it's quite surprising to see this many go mode items this quickly. We already have 3 out of the 6.
Also, no, hold on a minute. Except for the bottle, they have access to, I think, almost every location that can be an incentive location, provided the fetch quests.
Once they get canal, yeah.
Yes, very true on that one.
So really, really fast progression coming in here. Could still see a floater at the Circle of Sages to really speed up the seed, but I'm guessing it'll be, some kind of fetch quest item or maybe a piece of gear, because we do have all of Volcano, Ice, and Marsh to find a canal, as well as the 2 incentives in Volcano and Ice, respectively.
Also, Thunder actually checking Matoya. Couldn't see that one. A lot of money, and couldn't see that one.
Okay, I like this from both runners. They decided that they weren't getting enough cash out of their other checks, and they're going to get a pile of it to reward them for the Matoya check. And that's going to, as said before, make that Elfland trip much more efficient.
And Thunder opting to take one of the Axel River tile battles, and that Pure really paying off for them since they are getting poisoned a lot to save themselves money, more money, and more money. Yep. That was, close to 20k out of that?
And good point about that river encounter. So you rarely see river encounters outside of either the Southeast River system or the Northwest one on the way to Waterfall, because people are usually only spending about 1 tile to pass through them by Matoya and Northwest Castle. But Thunder picked up a Hydra, which is, solid chunk of experience for being this low level.
I know I've gone on record as saying if you really want to pick up some quick levels very early on and you have the canoe, it's worth taking a river tile or 2 depending on where you are.
Yep, and Thunder's heading back to Provoca. He either saw something in the armor shop he wanted, or he maybe didn't finish flushing out his magic. I could see him maybe having left heal 3 behind.
Most likely, since he is here, Thunder will probably most likely head to Circle of Sages.
Yep,
on his way.
I think both runners will probably go to Circle of Sages through the sort of southeast inlet of the river, because you don't want to spend too much time navigating the river itself.
Ooh, and lock 2 in the level 3 Black Magic, and as for that one, and Viz 2.
That's a pretty stacked utility level there at 3. A lot of the good stuff though locked to White Mage, but so that favors Thunder's party a little bit. Saltyphry though bailed out. Life 2 Red Mage learnable at level 4. Gets his first charge at level.
Life 2 at level 4.
Yes. And fast as well. So the Red Mages have enough of the essentials to help win, meaning that the party edge probably disappears, I think, for Thunderclaude. The life and fast pickups are pretty enormous.
Yes, they are. Although I still think Thunder might be rewarded with the extra casts of Life 2.
Yeah, that's potential. So what I think is probably going to happen here, the Black Mage doesn't get competitive AoE until that level 4 magic, which comes online at level 8 for the Black Mage. I think the Black Mage might kind of bite dust in one of these 2 parties, more likely so on Thunderclaude, who can rely on the double Fade casters, just because you do want to start looking at funneling experience onto your melee. So for Saltyphry, the Thief probably gonna, eat dirt, and then the Black Mage maybe is like a smaller percent chance, but Thunderclaude I could definitely see going with his red and white.
I could see Saltyphry more than likely going with the Danning the Thief, and then later on Danning the Black Mage as well, to go maybe 2-man strats on that one.
Yeah. He's starting it right away. In fact, that Black Mage is right up front. He can probably get socked by a Hydra here in the river system. He's also taking south route to Crescent here, which is a little bit longer because you have to wrap back around rather than going through the river inlets. Thunderclaude is going the most efficient possible path here, shortest steps and fewest encounters. Fade some Fade some Caribs there to pick up a little bit of golden experience. Saltyphry opting out of fights. Those Cobras and Scorpions are vulnerable to Quake, as are Peds. You might break this. Yeah. Good call here. Peds are great experience early.
Yes, they are. I'm pretty sure Salty is wanting to play it a little bit safer by taking the longer way around, as less time, on the canoe, and, a bit safer on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. There are difficult encounters on both land and sea there. Or not land, but like land and river.
Oh, and we've got
So
a
ultimately, you
sink.
just want to... these tents are nice. So tents are super cheap here. We can stock up on save items, and that's really going to be important for navigating the river system quickly, being able to reset out of fights.
Life 1 at level 6 alongside Saber. Although, not the best. If your red mates can get it and you find something decent for a hand-me-down to them, it is really worth it.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing Saber bot this run. It does come online at level 20 for red mages. It's pretty late. We'll see that Ice 3 at some point pre-promotion for a black mage if either runner keeps theirs up. saltyphry more likely to Dan the black mage though based on his actions so far. And the cube
what's
from the
even,
Circle of Sages gives us 4 out of 6 go mode items. So, you know, if we get floater and ice and volcano pay out, like, we might not need to dive a lot of dungeons this seed to get go mode.
not just that, but that gives them access to all 4 fiends right now.
Yeah,
all they need
pending
is the
canal, of course. Yeah, or floater.
I don't know about you, but I'm hoping for floaterus.
Yeah, that could still happen. So I love saltyphry already. Getting rid of 2 characters here. He's going to go 2-man strats. I would like to maybe see a few more levels taken outside Crescent on the 2 party members he's going to run with before going to Volcano. That's a little safer, but you can always save outside. Wiping in the top 2 floors of Volcano isn't too punishing if he happens to.
I don't know if he bought any tents or not, but either way... Also, I don't know if he bought any houses as well, but even so...
10 of them, it looks like.
Yep, he's got the houses, so having the ability to grind here is going to be very good. Once you get some levels all the way that, it'll probably bring up his black mage and then get some levels on him as well.
Yep. So I would say Salty's approach so far has been the more aggressive of the 2. He's pushing the dungeon quicker at lower level and with only 2 party members. And also the fighter's not even swinging anything yet, so there's just fists there. Our main damage source is going to be this Fade. Wizard Tile on the the Fire Elemental, not super valuable.
I mean, the nicest thing is that, honestly, because of the way the parties have rolled, Salty... This is basically his only AoE, so he almost had to damn the black mages if he wanted to get, some more levels on that one.
Yep. The Thunderclaude, he's leveled high enough now to where his black mage will be able to cast the Lit 3 and Quad X that we saw at level 4, as well as the Fast, though we might not need that until carry. Thunderclaude also kept the Wizard Staff, I'm pretty sure, for
potential... Both of them sold it.
Oh, they did both sell it? Okay.
Not much in the armory today.
Yeah, this is pretty light.
Most of it is just a lot of money.
So Thunderclaude is full on heal potions, or mostly full. 90 is enough, especially when you have a white mage that can cast heal 3. Paralisks have Blaze on that. This is a random encounter too, that's not even the spike tile. Paralisks are in a random encounter you can get on the 2nd floor of Volcano here. With Shuffled Encounter rarity, they're more likely to show up. And with Shuffled Spells and Scripts, yeah, that kind of stuff can happen.
Very, very true. Although, since the... saltyphry opting to literally just go straight down and not check those few last chests.
Yeah, I'm going to need to see his menu. At some point, he will need to go and heal up because he's walking over all these lava tiles. If he's at 90 heal potions, I feel better about this play. If he's at fewer than that, I'm a little bit uncomfortable with it. He could just be going for the incentive and saying, I'm not going to bother with carry until endgame.
Not sure on that one. I do know that having, taken a wipe to the, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name on that one. It's going to be worth just continuing onward and just hoping that the other loose item is not in the armory area.
Yeah, so I think he wiped before seeing the last 2 chests on the top right of this. Oh wow, this is the spike tile, and it's also a random encounter.
Yep.
saltyphry was around the bottom right bend there and got the encounter again. Oh boy, and I think Thunderclaude probably wipes to this. Oh no, he got lucky. They didn't cast. Okay, So he can still actually make it out of here, and he has life 2 charges on the white mage.
Yep, and looks like you are right with what saltyphry is doing, because he has been skipping a lot of the other chests. So most likely checking the incentive and just going from there.
Yeah. Now, depending on where Thunderclaude came in on this encounter table, he might see those Paralisks again too. Okay, so Pure Potion and some gold. So nothing else in the armory. Saltyphry not punished for skipping, but maybe for skipping some of the ones on the way down on floor 4 there, the Agama floor, which we only saw like a couple checks from.
Only 2. Only 2.
So first spike tile. This is Chimera's. Hopefully they rolled low and are. Oh, they didn't roll low attack. That's for sure. God, he needs to get a run off here. He's about 40% chance to run here if he's even alive. No, he fails it. Yeah.
No.
So trying to get through those spike tiles, the 2 of them consecutively, if they roll dangerous formations, is one of the hardest parts in Volcano Week. You really need multiple members up for chances to run, for higher HP pools, and in this case, a Black Mage that could cast Lit 3 would actually be enormous for getting past the Gersharks and Big Eyes.
Very true. Very true. To come up 1 tile short of being able to check that incentive just has to feel a bit, annoying, at least for now.
Yep, and we're starting to see the negative consequences of saltyphry's aggressive play by being so few members so early, running in here kind of underleveled, undergeared, and undersupplied. Now he's doing a backup where he's checking the armory again, and he's sort of already losing ground to Thunder's more thorough, safe approach.
True, although he knows that it's just money, right?
He doesn't know the last 2.
Oh, very true, very true. Although Salty will be rewarded as long as he can keep his red mage alive, since he should have a charge of life 2 now, at least reaching level 8, so he should be able to.
No, the red mage gets it at level 10, so he actually needs to level more before he can life at all. Thunderclaude, he's going out doing the thing where he houses up and saves. He had to get through an unrunnable Sphinx fight, which he did by using just punches from the fighter. He didn't even have that large knife equipped yet.
These fires hitting for a lot.
Yeah, fire is already a strong enemy baseline, and of course they can roll up. The HP usually sitting in the 300 to 400 range. Ice 3, if we had it, would be a nice spell here. Looks like the fades were not getting it done. So yeah, saltyphry repeatedly having issues due to his choice to 2-man, and I think he's going to go back, maybe pick up the Black Mage and level a bit outside Crescent, because he needs an alternative strategy here.
Very true, very true. Although having those houses, he could try to get to 10 and then raise the Black Mage, but looking almost like he's going to go to Ice.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Thunderclaude is stuck in a muck. He had this muck fight here, which it wasn't unrunnable or anything, but it did have sleep, a script that started with sleep, so he was getting losing turns there. Picks up a Light Axe, though, in the top right hairpin. That's a huge upgrade for the fighter. You can actually deal damage with that, and a fasted Light Axe could get you through carry.
Not just that, but also it will also help if he runs into any undead encounter tiles.
Yeah. We didn't see any in this dungeon, but there could not only be encounter tiles, but also plenty of undead formations that are in Ice Cave by default. So Thunderclaude will be well equipped for Ice Cave, assuming that's his next play, but TBD on the location of that canal, which could still be in this dungeon.
Also, saltyphry getting their first life 2 charge.
Yeah, the only reason I think this play makes sense for saltyphry is because of that stack of houses and taking the encounters along the way. That said, I just don't love it. I think I would have liked to have seen an adjustment based on the difficulty he was having in Volcano, because if there are bad scripts in here, he's going to be in just as bad of a spot.
I mean, he'll be at least a few levels higher, which can be beneficial on that one.
True. So he's got 2 charges of level 4 on the Red Mage now, hitting that level 11. And fades, I think he's probably up to like 5 fades or so when he houses, which is not bad. He will still have to try and conserve resources, though.
Very true. Very, very true.
Alright, so we should see this full Agama floor clear here from Thunderclaude as well. He's going to heal up his fighter and maybe just one of the white. Oh, okay, he's healing up the red mage, it looks like. No, he's healing up everyone. So there are a couple approaches you can take when you've got this lava issue to save yourself from using a bunch of heal pots. If you just kind of drag along 1 HP characters, they can't lose any more health, and then you can wait for a fight to happen. They die, you life 2 them back up. But the safer approach to make sure you go into every fight with 4 party members is to just heal pot in between bouts on the lava.
Ooh, and Frosty's that one. See, Iron Gauntlet, Pro Cape, that is going to be very useful.
Yeah, putting the Pro Cape on the the white mage is in the far back, so putting it on a life caster, that makes sense. This Perilous tile, this is extremely bad. He's going to need to get turn order because there are 8 of them. And he gets amazing turn order. First action fade. That could have easily been a wipe.
I don't think he has seen the actual blaze come out from them.
He did. They cast it when he was in the armory.
Oh, that is actually an interesting encounter tile. If they didn't have Squint, for us wolves, on saltyphry's side.
Yeah, that's
good if they didn't have Squint.
That's a B-side encounter that's on those dangerous tiles that we were talking about before. It's worse than the formation that can roll vanilla in this dungeon, which is just a frost giant and like 1 to 2 frost wolves. He got the Temple of Fiends revisited formation there, and yeah, just got dunked on. When you're not well geared early as 2-character party, like you're not tanky, you don't have pro rings and things, it's a really dangerous party, and he's seen that, finally bringing up the thief just to help him run. And honestly, I agree with the call.
Oh, 100%. His party is still squishy, and let's see what's in the vanilla Agama room. Only opting to check the first chest.
I think he's going to heal up before, yeah, exactly. And he's going to run into the Chimera tile, but with more magic charges, I think we'll see Thunderclaude actually take the fight.
Most definitely. I mean, that is a very good experience level tile.
Alright, he's just going to full run from this. He knows that they can roll pretty dangerous physical attacks, so he's playing it safe. Saltyphry also, being in Ice Cave without that Light Axe that Thunderclaude has, going to make his clear a little harder because he doesn't have those backup AoEs for the undead. Oof, ambush here. Thunderclaude, they have stun touch in 6 hits. Thunder's just got destroyed, unfortunately, but thankfully they're casting Dark as their first script. It doesn't matter, his party's fully stunned. This looks like a wipe, almost guaranteed. Unless they keep casting Dark. No. Oh, so he saved his armory progress, but that's his full bottom of Volcano that wipes. I think we'll see him go back for the Pro Cape at most, but I think he just wants to take another shot at not getting ambushed by the Chimeras.
And Saltyphry getting through to check that one chest, although only 5 gold, so really not worth it.
Yeah, so to kind of re-emphasize here for folks watching at home, the spike tile formations in Final Fantasy Randomizer, there's of course vanilla you can play, where you would just have things like wizards and marsh cave, and you'd have like the Agama in the volcano. Then there's the A-side shuffle, which is all those same ones shuffled, and then there's the B-sides, which includes a lot of like later game formations, higher density enemy packs, and some encounters that actually don't even appear in vanilla. And they're just more dangerous, and so Volcano Week, because of that incentive being behind 2 of them, necessarily means going through some very spooky tiles, some seeds.
Very, very true. And Salty finding a Manticore encounter tile.
Yeah, Manticores, that's actually good. He might be able to... Okay, they have over 175 HP, so not as good of a roll as usual, but they can be low HP, generally low threat as far as their physical stats, though they also rolled 2 hits, so really not the best Manticores today. But gets through him, he's going to get like 1 or 2 levels off of this fight, yeah.
And blocking a silver knife and a wooden helmet.
Can I just talk about how much the gear and like treasure we found has stunk so far? Like the best 2 items in the game have been a Pro Cape and a Light Axe.
Yeah, just hoping a lot of the good stuff is, very deep in a lot of locations that the runners won't check.
All right. Ooh, first action run there for Thunderclaude. So he's past the first part of the mystery. Big Eyes rolling 2 hits, a ton of damage. The fighter might die here. There's another stun touch, so the red mage is stunned. His other remaining members thankfully got a runoff, even though kind of low chance to run. So with the herb in hand, he's going to heal up, have 4 members, and try to get turn order again on those chimeras, because he does not have warp.
Now, I'm assuming he will at least try to go and beat Carrie, since he's already down here.
I mean, it depends on how many members he has up if he gets out of this fight, right? So his life 2 charges may be limited. Ooh, this is not looking good.
Oh, and Salty
He hasn't even attempted AoE. Oh, God.
Oh.
Meanwhile, saltyphry picks up the canal in the basement of Ice Cave, so that's actual progression into a good grind tile.
Also finding the actual second loose item in the crown right next to it.
Oh, I didn't even see that. That there was so much going on at once with Thunderclaude wiping. So saltyphry, oh, but the Grimmadus just have fire too themselves. They're fighting back with their own weakness. And Dazzle. All right, so this is going to be a wipe too. Both runners having a lot of trouble with the spike tiles. Salty, however, with that information in hand, he's going to go down, get those loose items, nope out of the spike tile. He will have full knowledge of the loose in the game and not necessarily need to check more chests beyond that, except to find gear.
And not only that, but that will be 3 actual incentives in the Ice Cave, since we haven't even seen the true incentivized location in Ice.
And another thing of note, so we have experience at scales per key item in this flag set, gold and experience, plus 5% per. So once saltyphry gets out of here with those 3 extra items, he'll have plus 15% experience in gold, which will help him scale up his party, especially leveling those 2 characters that he cares so much about. I want to say, I don't know how good Thunderclaude's odds are, and he's looking for an herb here, so he doesn't even know if that herb is worth it. Yeah, hard to say. Like, he might want to... If he wipes again, he might want to skip it and go to Ice.
I mean, as a positive note, because of the other items already found and bought, that's close to, 30% extra, if I've done my math correctly for saltyphry, once he gets the other items?
Yeah, this flag set can be pretty generous with the early experience scaling, because you do start off getting a pile of key items. You have a free ship and a free bridge to begin the game. You get 2 from King and Sarah, 1 from Vicky, and by that point you've already got plus 25% experience over vanilla.
Yep. Salty picking up the opal shield as well.
Wow, man, what a placement of these chests here. Like, he has both before even having to touch that Grimmadusa tile, and hopefully never see them again. They could, of course, be on Earth floor of the Temple of Fiends Revisited, as well as on floors 2 and 3 of Sky Castle, but they'll be in lower numbers in Sky Castle, and he'll probably have fire resistance by then. Meanwhile, Thunderclaude trying to run. Chimeras being nice, opening with their Dark, which is first skill. He's failing some runs, but getting a lot of darks. As long as they're not punching, we're happy, because the punches 6 hits for stun touch. Gets a run. All right, that's the first one down. Surprised by the Gershark's Big Eyes. There is a stun touch in this fight. The Red Mage already on 1 knee. Just full running, not even attempting to kill either of these tiles in either go around. Gets the herb again. 1 last tile to go through. It's practically the dungeon boss, right? It's like this collection of fights is probably harder than killing Carrie.
Also, as a positive note, saltyphry picking up the actual Opal Gauntlet as well.
Not bad, not bad. I think Opal Gauntlet usually pretty obviated by... Oh, this is another bad tile! Lobsters with 3 hits! Wow, neither of the runners can catch a break today. That was a crit there. The Red Mage is down. The Thief just needs to survive and run, and it's not going to get it. Nope. So saltyphry wipes his full Ice Cave again. While Thunder starts taking on Carrie and is going for a stun here. That'll tell him Carrie's HP. It did not succeed, so Carrie is over 300 HP. Stun is a power word spell.
As a positive note, probably saltyphry will dig out the 2 items. I don't know if he will try to go for the incentive just yet. Most likely, if it was me, I would get those 2 that you know about. go save, then try digging it one more time. I know it might be annoying that you'd have to double tip ice, but with what rolled on the encounter tile for the chest before, the tile to block the incentivized item, it might be actually smarter to do that.
Yes, and we're a little bit late to the call, but Thunderclaude did light his first orb at the 31-minute mark, took down Carry with about 500 damage, so not a very high roll there, and he's making his way over to Ice Cave, so he will be in much better condition level and magic-wise than Salty to make it through Ice Cave on his first dive. Of course, he might wipe at those Grimmeduses as well. He still has no elemental protection from fire. And he also might wipe at the lobsters because we've seen physical attacks be so strong. But he's going to go check out the herb first. I like this play. It's pretty close in the river system to go back to Elfland. And if it's the floater, it's a big pickup. But I agree with you. saltyphry might be more judicious to skip the ice incentive now that he has the Canal and Crown. Since Canal gets him out of the Inner Sea, gets him a lot more incentive dungeons, gets him all his Fiend dungeons, and then the Crown could be another Go mode item. It also could be the floater.
It also could just be the Opal Cheerio, Thorhammer, or Power Bonk on that one. And with what's left on this one, the Crystal, Ruby, Tail, and Loot, the only major one that would really be needed for Go mode is the Loot. Oh, and the key. Almost forgot about that.
And the key. We need loot and key. Yep, we've been at 4 out of 6 Go mode items for a while, and the loot and the key are the last 2. So we've got 2 unknown fetch quests in the hands of opposite runners. Thunder, paying a visit to some of the shops here, I didn't think he had armor early on, which might have been one of the reasons he was wiping so often. saltyphry indeed is out of Ice Cave. I don't think he's saved yet. I hope he saves very soon.
Yes. That was the very first thing he did. Although, hopefully he won't forget that he abandoned an item in Ice Cave.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy to remember, given that, so much of his time was spent in Ice Cave, it's kind of hard to forget, that was a big component of the seed.
And Thunderclaude picking up his spells now before turning in the herb.
Yeah, doing a magic cleanup since he came back here with over 40,000 gold. All right, what does the Sleeping Prince have for us when he awakened?
For the dank herb, it's Crystal.
Okay, well,
gotta love those fetch quests.
Yeah, TBD what that is, but it does give us more experience now. It sends us back to Matoya where we've already been, but frankly, the early Matoya trip was already worth it.
And burning an encounter from Thunder. While Salty is taking some creeps, I believe that was the unrunnable version of that fight.
Yeah, he's trying to get that Thief Dand off again. It's back in the top slot there, taking 2/3 of all the attacks. It might die here if... Nope, never mind, he got turn order. The Hydra probably would have punched out in 1 turn. So, Salty going the same way as Thunder. Ooh! Only an Opal Bracelet as the reward for the all that time spent on the Volcano instead of tile. So, hard luck there for Thunder. It's a good piece of equipment, but he's going to need to go all the way back to Ice Cave now. Salty, more likely to find something valuable off this crown, because an equipment is out of the pool. And even if not, he's got the canal, so he's off and happy.
Very true. Though, if you were saltyphry, where would you go with what you have present?
Ordeal's Waterfall, I think. We don't have Warp or Exit, though, so, Ordeal's a little bit easier to do without either of those spells. Warp is kind of a convenience there, but you don't need Exit so much. There's a chance he picks up either of those spells at level 5 in Melmond on the way out for his Red Mage, which would be advantageous. He could level his way into a charge of that to make Waterfall faster.
Or possibly even, I think once you get that one, the ogres have stone type, whatever it is for poison for
stone poison. The AOE, what do you call it? AOE stoning, I guess, ability that comes from Chimeras in the vanilla game, and very dangerous, especially with no ribbons early.
They're just throwing lots and lots of stones at them. Yet,
Yeah, so that was just a small punish there. Saltyphry has not been saving a lot on the overworld compared to Thunderclaude, so he's been having to take more encounters, even though he's got that stack of tents, and he does finally use one here before Astos.
And let's see what Astos gives us today. Adamant, which is another fetch quest item, but since he is right near the dwarves, this will be a quick turn in.
Yeah, he can basically just throw it over the canal at this point.
Most definitely, although Astos rolling a bit higher on the amount of health he rolled. And with both runners 37 minutes in, gotta feel, because of the level of competition, maybe a little bit behind, just because of not having anything major.
I mean, both runners feel behind, which is what happens when you wipe a ton to RNG in the early game, right? Spike tiles, like getting ambushed, getting turn order, whatever. Oof.
Ooh,
so Saltyphry's crown leads to a power gauntlet. More useful late game than the opal bracelet, but not the payoff either runner was looking for from those fetches. So Thunderclaude still could have a big edge if he makes it all the way through to the Ice Cave incentive and it turns into a floater or go mode item.
Even so, those fetch quests, are actually paying off for good items, so it's decreasing the chances of the actual item that Saltyphry skipped not being important. So
yep.
Let's see, at level 5, we got Cure 3, Heal, Exit, and Hog.
Yeah, big win here for the White Mage party. Thunderclaude's going to be able to have charges of... Oh, and the black level 5 is nothing. So Thunderclaude's going to have charge of Exit on his White Mage. That gets it at level 12. So he will be able to get out of Waterfall, even Ordeals, potentially, and some other dungeons faster. That could be an edge in the long run.
And what we do know now is that Warp will be at minimum level 7, so... cheap pro rings, though.
And have we needed them? Because there's been, like, Squint and all kinds of ugliness. Plus, everyone's just getting punched so hard. We just need any absorb we can get.
I mean, sub 3,000 pro rings, that is really stupidly cheap. Oh, and Thunder dealing with a full Frost Giant, Frost Wolf back.
Yeah, that's a bad formation. It's been basically nothing but bad formations on all the spike tiles, and Thunder's probably just sick of it at this point. He's actually wiped to those more times than Saltyphry has.
So, with what you have available, check Waterfall non-rack, or just clear Sky for Ordeals?
Yeah, anything that you know has an incentive right now is a good play, but if you feel behind and you think that maybe looking for gear, looking for levels or something could be the play, I could see Sky, but with knowledge of both loose for Saltyphry, he doesn't have a reason to go to any non-incentive dungeon. We had a question in chat about the TNT being checked. TNT was one of our earliest items, so we're past that. Our tracker Crab Cakes in chat noted helpfully that it was the Oxyel.
And it was also the vendor item. And it rolled very low on the costs.
Yep. Thunder got a first action run on the Frost Giant tile that time, so safely away, but there are more tiles in his future. Meanwhile, Saltyphry making its way through the Ordeals Pillar Maze. Pillars are shuffled, so you don't actually follow the vanilla route. The pillars can send you back, they can send you forward. You obviously want to go forward, but the ways that they can send you back are mixed up, as are which room you go to following each other. So it can be kind of a nightmare. You've got to remember 4 different forks in the road.
Not just that, but they can also just take you nowhere.
Exactly. Also, there are a bunch of annoying enemies in Ordeals. Gargoyles always roll multiple hits, which means if they have a touch effect, they can be very scary. These ones look kind of safe, though.
And Thunderclaude getting that matchcore fight, using Light 3 to take him down. That in combination with Fate, so gets that done pretty easily.
Alright, mummies are going to waste our time here. They ambush saltyphry with a script that starts with blind. The blind doesn't matter much, but you're scared of 7 things having a script that went before you. Thankfully, though, he got away. But mummies are a common encounter in here, and they're in a lot of dungeons.
And they weren't hitting for that hard. Like, I think I was reading, like, what, 10 damage at best? But,
Yeah, mummies aren't super strong physically. The Wiz Mummy did 53, though. Alright, Thunder's coming up on this fateful room, which is full of so much joy and so much pain. Will he have a better time around than saltyphry? Ooh, not bad there. So, saltyphry encountered some zombie dragons. Rare encounter in here, but they died to, like, under 200 damage.
a high roll of fade was, like, so decent with that one.
Thunderclaude with the heads-up play! I love this from him. So, he knows he has both loose items, and that the spike tiles have been atrocious, just nopes out entirely, doesn't run into those Grimadeuses. He's good to go, unless he dies to the lobsters.
It's, considering what happened to saltyphry, there's a good chance of that one.
Yeah, so for anyone watching at home, there's probably no piece of gear in the game, other than maybe a ribbon, or the Maza, that would be worth wiping again, checking a random spike tile for. So honestly, just play it safe. There's substitutes for everything. You don't need one chest that badly when you have all the loose.
Well, considering both of them are running a fighter, I could theoretically see maybe trying for the dragon armor, but as you said, there are, substitutes for that.
Oh, and he gets an easy formation here. Only 2 sea snakes and a lobster. First action run, and he's rewarded with a bottle. So that's not a floater. So saltyphry didn't miss out on a huge important thing. That means floater is going to come out in one of either waterfall or ordeals.
Oh, and repeats have got stone touch.
Ooh, and saltyphry wipes his ordeals trip. So yeah, those were on the spike tile. I believe starting the last room in the top right corner.
Yep,
so he didn't actually get to see the incentive yet. Yeah.
Luckily, he will be able to remember the maze to make his trip faster.
Oh my god, and Medusas! God, so the Medusas usually come in packs of like 2 to 5 in here, and then there can be like 2 to 4 of them in a formation later on in Sky Castle, and they have Thunder, one of the scariest abilities in the game. I think he's going to want to do Run plus Fade next time he sees one of those, because they will die to just about any AoE.
So if you're Thunder, he will most likely go and turn in the crown, which will give him his adamant, which will give him his power bonk as well.
Yeah, you can see Thunderclaude, he's making up ground now on Salty, having done more, not necessarily for more progression, but for more levels. He's actually diverting here to Provoca. It's a fascinating play. Maybe he needs to resupply on something that Provoca has that is not in Crescent? Or he parked his ship up here, one of the two.
I think he parked his ship up here because he had to, because he stopped to check the herb.
Oh, the Crystal, right, he routed Crystal here. Okay. Alright, yeah, I mean, I can see it, it's fine. He's back on the ship, so he's going to be sailing out of the inner sea real quickly too. And he's going to make up all that time on saltyphry. If saltyphry keeps wiping, Thunderclaude will pass him with an orb and more key items in hand.
But saltyphry almost to the spike tile that he died on, and getting a good actual encounter, but a good actual, only after dealing with one. It's a hit.
So, Salty, this is the time. Bring up your thief. Just bring it back. We need to run from that fight, and we need someone not stoned so we can get away.
I mean, I'm surprised he didn't try throwing out a fade charge after the first attempt.
He did the last time. They have like over 300 HP, I think, in vanilla, and they tend to roll quite high. So the first fade didn't do it, and 2 fades might not have even done it.
Thunder, not even seeing that the ogres have the ability to stone as well. Also picking up their adamant.
Alright, saltyphry going to run from these man-cats here, gets a first action run. That can be a scary fight just because of their elemental resistances, but haven't seen what they do yet. Sorcerer's rolled a different touch than their vanilla. They've got a stun touch. His better runners went down, but the red mage thankfully got a run off.
Yep. And the Argoyles. Gotta love the actual bridge credits. I remember back when it was just vanilla in the randomizer.
Oh yeah, but at this point we now have had a lot of people contribute to the randomizer. Big thanks, by the way, to all the developers from Entroper and onwards. Some of them are in the credits, but also a number of people in the community have made small contributions.
Saltyphry is rewarded big.
And then he's gonna die. So you just keep soft resetting, try and go in on a different part of the encounter table, try and get some turn order.
Most definitely. I mean, that massa is huge.
Yep, even if this dungeon turns out to be the Thor Hammer, it will be worth it for that item alone, because Mazza is a good enough sword to never have to promote, and frankly, you don't even need much in the way of offensive buffs to make it something that can kill late fiends. That said, at this point, maybe you're thinking about diverting to Waterfall and just coming back when you, like, find a ribbon somewhere or something, because he's just getting dunked on by these scripts.
Very, very true. I mean, I'm surprised he hasn't, still having, like, 3 or change houses, just going in, grinding on, like, 1 to 2 encounters, going out, saving, and then just trying for it. I mean, it's not worth it, but it's better than nothing.
There are also some overworld encounters. He's in an area where he could find Saurias, some other decent packs, like Sphinxes and whatever. He could also go east a little bit and maybe find sandworms or T-Rexes, but I don't think that's on his mind right now. I think you rarely see people grind up for more levels at ordeals to get through ordeals.
I mean, you do rarely, but there is a time and a place for it as well.
Yeah, the last adjustment I could think of would be bringing... Okay, he got through the Gerpede fight. So the last boss, we think, is these Medusas, pending the second spike tile in this room.
Yep, picking up more money. The massa...
Oh, equip it! No! Ah!
Okay.
Fade, run. Alright, the Medusa didn't cast Thunder, he's good. And he's gonna stop to equip the Mazza now.
When you get a massa, you immediately menu and equip it. Ooh, nice armor too.
So the ice armor,
money,
and a ribbon. Everything he needed was it here. If he could have just made it a few steps further, so he can put a ribbon on his life caster, and his fighter's going to be tankier and have fire resistance. That's huge.
Yes, that is.
No joke. We literally in this dungeon and
the floater.
In this dungeon, we get everything we need to win. We got Mazza, we got ribbon, we got an endgame armor, we got a floater. So, if the other two. He's got a slab in a bottle, right? No, he only has the slab.
Yes,
okay.
The bottle was the actual incentivized item in ice, which he noped out on.
Yep.
But
thankfully,
ordeals,
easy spike tile there to get out.
Although ordeals being an ordeal today, it's well worth it and high rewards.
Yep. So I also do like Thunder's routing here. It's kind of a coin flip whether you go to Ordeals or Waterfall first. However, because he's in no mode for the loose items and he has Oxial, he can go over here and clean up Sea Shrine on one attempt. So he'll save time in this area probably. But Saltyphry is going to be in the air in about a minute, and he's got one of the 2 fetches to turn in after Floater. I think the best case scenario for Saltyphry is going to be 1 go mode item off of this slab and 1 in Waterfall, so he doesn't have to go back to ice.
Very, very true. I mean, I could see maybe wanting the tail, but that's optional at this point.
Yep. Also, I love this play from Thunderclaude. It's finally time. He's past the most dangerous dungeons. He no longer needs the... Well, he kind of needs the Black Mage. He needs turn order on these Paralisks. But what I was going to say is, once the Black Mage is down, he's going to be funneling more experience onto 3 members, the ones with the more valuable magic. and he will be able to exit out of here thanks to the exit from Melmond. Saltyphry at the Ryokan Desert. He's going to get in the air at the 51-minute mark.
Call it 52 since basically 5 seconds off of it, but even so.
Yeah, I just go by the first two numbers.
Yeah.
All right, and immediately guns it over to Sarda. This is one of those incentives that is floater locked for the time being unless Ruby happens to be the waterfall incentive.
And we've got the Ruby. Gotta love it.
Ruby, yeah, some people also will like save their Sarda check until they get Ruby sometimes. So you would have been in a conundrum in this seed. But he's going to immediately go up and check the incentivized Titan Strobe with that Ruby.
Yep, and on Thunder's side, he gets to the robot and gets the tail.
Okay. Tail, both these parties want a tail. Neither of them need a tail, and Saltyphry absolutely already has gear that can win thanks to what he found in Ordeals.
It leads to the floor hammer.
Okay, so Thorhammer there means that it's going to be Slab and Bottle turning into Loot and Key in some order. So Thunderclaude is going to have the edge on that once he gets in the air until Salty makes his way back to Ice Cave. So Saltyphry, from here, he's probably doing the Slab turn-in, I would have to assume, unless he has deduced by now that Ice Cave is likely the bottle and he wants to save himself some routing time. His other options, he can go clear the free chests in Cardia.
More than likely, let's see, heading this way, I'm trying to think of the overworld map on that one. More than likely Onrak, or, yep, I'd say Onrak in the Cardia Isles.
Yep. So Cardia here, there are 13 free treasures, very valuable pickups. Katana, alright, so if he ends up going to Waterfall and getting his tail, he'll be able to promote. Light Axe, not as exciting now as it was in the early game.
But at the same point, second ribbon too.
Okay, second ribbon, Katana, Maza, and the armor that he's got. I think once Salty clears these Cardia chests, he doesn't need to go out of his way for a chest the entire rest of the game. That's so good already.
I mean, the only option is whether or not do you revive the thief as once you get enough levels on your red mage and your fighter to justify reviving it, so that way the walking XP on the thief, especially with the katana.
So, here's the thing. If we had only found the katana, I would call that a pretty competitive approach. However, because we already have Maza, that's like the fighter can win on its own. And the most important thing, and a defense to go with it.
Sword.
God, the fighter can win the game by itself. So more levels on the fighter are inherently more valuable no matter what. So I think I would go for the approach to continue two-manning. It's much safer now. Both characters have the gear they need to stay up. And, if he gets his fighter to, like, around 30 by the end game, he'll be very competitive.
Very, very true. And let's see, where are you going, Salty? I think over to Gaia.
Ooh, Thunderclaude almost hits the exit boss there, trying to get to life 2 to bring his fighter back up. The fighter got just bonked by a bunch of those strong enemies here in the Sea Shrine. He doesn't have ice armor yet, because he's not been to Ordeals. Gold bracelet, though. Alright, that's a freebie.
Oh, there's Zombuls having frost.
Super unique play here. So, Thunderclaude taking the gold bracelet, putting it up front on his fighter. It's the same absorb as that iron armor that he already had. However, it's got 24 more evade, so he's going to get hit less often, and he's just going to go back to the chain armor on his less frequently targeted red mage.
And Saltyphry almost at Lefane, running to a 8-pack of Frost Wolves, but they're going down to a single fade, so decent experience from that fight.
Yeah, Frost Wolves, as long as they don't have a script, are usually pretty efficient experience. Anything that you can get walking to and from Lefane, except for like Wyverns, is pretty much good enough to fight.
And
especially
the
when he's
loot.
at mid-team.
Sorry to interrupt you, but we found the loot in Lefane.
Yep, and that means the bottle will come off of, or sorry, the key will come off of the bottle. We don't see any more fetch quests on the tracker, so the last fetch quest is going to be bottle to key.
Oh, and a Tyro sighting, and looks like saltyphry is opting to satisfy the crowd, and cook up some steak.
He sunk in almost 800 damage the first turn and the Tyro didn't die, so today the Tyro is not food.
I mean, it died to 2 swings of the Masa and a fade, so yeah.
It's not a, like, if you don't one round that fight, a single Tyro isn't worth taking, and he probably knows that. Anyways, he's off to something. He knows he needs the bottle from. Actually, no, he's guessing he needs the bottle from. No, where is he going? I don't know. Does anyone know? He doesn't have the herb yet. He actually has no knowledge of the volcano incentive. So he's probably back down here to wrap up these 2 incentives, which totally makes sense. He can get his first orb lit. Meanwhile, speaking of lighting orbs, Thunderclaude on the Kraken 1 fight, opening up with some defensive strats here. He's going to invis up, I think, yeah, he's rusing and invising the red mage, or no, walling rather, to protect the red mage from both scripts and physical damage, and he's going to go for break and maybe some fade strats.
I mean, with that red mage still able to be that valuable, I can't fault him for keeping that red mage up.
Yep. This is a high evade Kraken 1. We saw only 1 hit coming out there from the fighter, who I think is swinging the light axe, but it was an axe shape, but it looked kind of like the great axe color. Anyways,
it was the light axe.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, it's the restream kind of making his palette look a little wonky, but yeah, it's got that kind of purplish pink color. Anyways, lit 3s and fade, so he's doing a damage approach rather than a break approach, but I think he's got the breaks as backup. And if it's low HP here, this quad axe could seal the fight. And terminated. Yep. So Thunderclaude lighting his second orb here, killing Kraken 1 at the 58-minute mark. Pretty good pace. He's go mode -2. He knows there's no more loose items to collect, and he's got half of his orbs lit.
Restocking all the heal pots, while saltyphry is just most likely gonna wolf it straight down into the basically to the incentivized, pick that up, and immediately carry.
Yep, and I think he can not only survive these fights, I think he can take these fights deliberately. Like, he can try to kill the Chimeras and try to kill the Gray Sharks and Big Eyes, which are worth a lot of experience, because he's got so much armor and so much HP that he didn't have before.
Also, a better question, though. Do you check any more of the actual big chest stockpiles, like in the like in Mirage Tower? Do you check greater than, less than, or do you check the first floor checks?
saltyphry doesn't need anything. I think if he's trying to make up time because he did die so much in this game, he's going to skip as many chests as possible. The last, I think, freebie check he might go for is Mirage 1, because you can reset and or save out of those 8, but the ones that are up higher in the dungeon cost you steps and can lead to encounters that slow you down.
And looks like saltyphry, the Sharks went down to basically a single swing of the Masa. I think it was like 4 hits. Maybe 3. So let's see the Big Eyes. Yep, 4 hits and change. So it's an option if he really wants to grind a little bit more.
Yep. Thunderclaude is making the Castle of Ordeals play, which he knows will get him into the air based on process of elimination and allow him to turn in those 2 fetch quests he's sitting on. So he knows go mode awaits. He's 2 items away from it and just needs to fly. Salty taking this Gershark and Big Eye tile again, looks like deliberately. It's a great grind, honestly, as long as they're not killing you. This is a spot where he could really power level. Yeah, I like this play from him.
Considering you're getting at least 2 of them, at least 1 shark, if not 2. So they've been rolling basically at the latest, the combination of at least, 1 shark and 2 of the eyes, but
yeah, it's one of the best experience fights in the game, especially when you have high damage physical attackers. And it's now that he's got ice armor and stuff like that, those 2 hits from the Big Eyes much less scary. He's probably never going to wipe on a single fight here. I think he's pretty safe.
More than likely. But only opting to take like a couple fights of that one. but also taking this Chimera fight as well for some extra EXP as well.
Yeah, he's got to take this one on the way out to carry, so it looks like his plan is he's got enough levels here. He wants to go and get orbs lit and start progressing. Thunderclaude taking out the pack of mummies before they do much to hurt him. He's gonna get close to this ribbon, Mazza, and all this other stuff soon. Hopefully doesn't wipe to Medusas, because he still doesn't resist lightning on any of his characters. So Medusas that jump him with like 4 or 5 thunders could still be a full wipe. And Zombles had frost. I don't think we saw that before.
I think we might have, but it was, so quick that it's hard to remember.
Yeah, saltyphry was wiping left and right in ordeals. Just about everything had something scary. Alright, run here. Thunder taking down 2 of the light warriors, but gets away, and he's probably not bringing back up that black mage. It was deliberately in the front. So yeah, black mage down. It was only alive for the Kraken fight. Once again, discarded so that he can get more XP on his other characters. saltyphry pulling his first fiend fight of the match at the hour 2 mark, and one-shots carry with the Mazza.
Gotta love that. You gotta love that. Normally the only time you really see a one-hit wonder is essentially if you are using a black belt and you have grind that to like 32 at minimum.
Yeah. So he's going to be able to do these fetch quests much quicker than Thunderclaude did, having access to the floater earlier. Get his, not necessarily disappointing news, but just like non-go mode news about the Power Gauntlet. Force Power Gauntlet is a key to victory, so it's important to have, but not so much when you already have Fast, Mazza, and the Defense Sword. Thunder getting the God Gear here. Ribbon, if he stops and equips that right away, he's safe from any kind of wipe the last few steps of ordeals.
Yep.
Salty's just got to go back to ice, but he might do waterfall first because he noped out of ice so many times. He might do waterfall first, wrap up his Sea Shrine orb. He'll get his tail. Promotion will be nice for that ninja, but the big play will be when he makes it back to ice.
And looks like is going to clean up the waterfall and Sea Shrine.
Yep, and of note, he's going to have a slower waterfall than Thunderclaude did. No access to exit or warp.
As a positive note, though, you will probably see both of our runners picking up the class promotion, because wasn't the Life 2 learnable by the night?
No. Life 2
yeah.
ended up in slot 4 of level 4, and the knight can only learn up to level 3.
Yeah, I get confused on that one.
Oh. Okay, never mind. He's about to be in the air. I thought he was sailing elsewhere, maybe over to Sky. Oh, wait. Okay. He's juking us. He's juking us because he could finish the seed. Actually, can he finish floaterless? No. What's he doing there?
No.
Some high-level encounter manipulation? There's a chance, and I don't think anyone besides Artea who runs Rando really does this. There's a chance he knew the exact step counter breakpoints where he was in the table both for sea and land, and was deliberately dodging land encounters by sailing the extra 20 steps on the ocean. I would, because Thunder's an elite runner, I would like to give him credit for that, but it's hard to say, because after sailing for that long, how are you actually keeping count of your steps?
Maybe
yeah, and Trigger was saying that in chat. I like to say that maybe he was. It's just such an uncommon thing to see in randomizer play. We'll have to ask him about it after the game.
Also, Thunder picking up their key. And he will be the first in go mode.
Yep, just gotta get down to Lupa land here. Maybe kill some Frostwolves? No, some Zombles on the way over. Decent experience, as we said before, and the Frost is not going to bother him.
Oh, and Salty literally gets the
Saltyphry could actually skip. Oh, okay. I was hoping Saltyphry would talk to the robot there and just nope out, because now he has to go through this tile twice. He's getting ambushed by 7 Argoyles, which is super slow, and we know the chests aren't anything, and that he already has enough gear to win. But opting into the spike tile, so he will take a little longer to finish Waterfall.
Well, the better question is, with the tail, if you don't feel like having to go in pre-mode, do you just reset?
I would personally reset here, given his gear situation. He does not need a ninja to win, but
And
he wants the
looks
tail
like
badly enough that he's going to
opting-
walk it out. And I think we missed the timestamp there, but at the hour 6 mark, Thunderclaude is in go mode with the pickup of the loot from Lefane. So he can just step right over here to Sky. He's only got 2 orbs left, and one of them is in the vicinity. He probably won't check any chests either. Maybe Cardi. He hasn't promoted. Thunder has not promoted, so he's not been over to Cardi to get that second ribbon, but I think he feels comfortable winning with what he's got.
More than likely, what they'll do is complete Sky, and then possibly pop in, promote, and then immediately head over to Earth.
I don't think he's even gonna. So Thunderclaude, he, being in his tier of runner, he will make cuts for things that he deems unnecessary that other runners consider as like safeties or sometimes even a given. I don't think it's a given that you promote with this party. I think he knows he can win. He's got every late game spell he needs. He has fast, he has the power gauntlet, he has defense, he has the Mazza and a ribbon. I think he's just good to go. He's going to get his levels in here, knock out Earth, and go to Temple of Fiends.
More than likely to. As I said, the only way I could see that is if you are very close to the Curry Island, and at present, though it would take a tiny bit, it's what, maybe about a minute away, you'd say? Minute and a half?
Good point. Actually, in chat, I forgot defense was in Cardia, right? So that's a consideration for saltyphry, but not for Thunderclaude. That said, he might still route it out. He's got evasion stacking on his other characters, so he doesn't need it necessarily on the knight. Doesn't need ruse, even though it is knight learnable. Also, Thunderclaude not only being a strong runner, but also understanding his opponent being strong as well. Like, this is not a matchup that is a given either way. You want to save time where you can, and he's going to make his strongest push into Temple of Fiends, get there on as early of a timestamp as possible. Because as we know, we've seen a lot of low roll Temple of Fiends this tournament.
Speak for yourself. I have seen a few insanely horrible Temple of Fiends revisited as well, but saltyphry at about 1 hour and 9 minutes has entered his second Fiend dungeon.
Yep, he should knock out Sea Shrine here. We probably won't see him get more than like 2 to 3 chests. There are a couple of freebies along the way. The Red Mage still isn't swinging a sword. I'd like to see it at least carry something like a Coral Sword or whatever. In a fight like that, it could have contributed maybe 100, 150 damage. But no worry.
Saltyphry with just needing the bottle, so we'll need to actually still go back to ice.
Yep. Thunderclaude checking just the greed chests here, left side of Sky 3. They've got nothing, but that's okay. He passed through a Medusa fight earlier, which he didn't even see the blaze from, so he doesn't have that knowledge yet that there will be blaze coming at him in TOFR.
We have yet to find any of the enemies with the nuke script.
Yeah, nuke. There's only 1 copy in the vanilla enemy pool, though there are 4 copies of Trance, and Whizvamps have 1 of them. That's a non-elemental stun on your whole party. It's low accuracy, so it's somewhat easily resisted if you get up to higher level, but stun locks with Trance have been another mini theme of this tournament.
Ooh, was that the dragon armor I just saw?
I was not looking. I was actually just checking chat. Chat is full of Bless RNGs, Warmech emotes, and hopefully some Mr. Destructoids, because chat is calling for a Warmech, and frankly, I think either runner could take a Warmech if they found one right now. Thunder, though, he's just taking these high experience field fights. Metal Slime's on the bridge. Very good for EXP.
I mean, it's free XP on that one, and you still have Cast of Fade, so you can just, fade it out and just go from there. The quad Arhydra fights, just, of course, fading.
Yeah, both runners picking up a lot of experience along their respective routes, and alright, he's not going to risk it. He didn't save.
And he didn't, and he couldn't run away from it.
And Warmech is hitting quite hard.
I don't blame him.
Sorry, I just said
one.
save, but I meant heal. right? Like, if he had been fully healed on the night, that might have been worth taking. Regardless, he runs away and gets the information that Slow 2 is out of the pool for Chaos. That makes him probably more confident on his dive if he gets down to solo fighter at the end, that his fighter won't get Slow 2'd.
I mean, I have seen some crazy seeds during this tournament so far, including some of the... I've actually seen a few of them actually have early nuke on that one, mob-wise, that, been on common mobs, so...
Anyways, we got Thunderclaude pulling his third Fiend here at the hour 12 mark, Tiamat 1. He's opening up with defensive strats, Ruse Break, Wall type things, so he wants to keep his mages alive. He's actually just going to wait and go for double break strats here with his middle two black casting mages. Sleep 2, going to put the white mage to sleep for 1 turn, not worth... Actually, that's not break. That's the Mazza. He put the Mazza... Oh my god! We're seeing next level strats here from Thunderclaude. Yeah, so the mini story there is just, you broke Tiamat into pieces. That's good. That's an instant kill. The bigger story is how heads up he's playing right now. He's planning for the red mage to be his backup win condition. You're getting a preview of it right here. He can cast Ruse on the red mage and have it swing a Mazza in order to win the game in the end. And it can heal itself. Yeah, that's real good. I
mean, I'm a huge fan of actually having the red mage actually be your damage dealer because, I've literally had to actually do that before in a race to where I lost every other party member but the red mage, and okay, that's my damage dealer. It's like, yeah, that's what you gotta do.
I thought he was either taking the long way to promotion or something, but he's actually just taking the long way to Earth. He kind of got lost on the airship there, but regardless, he's entering his final Fiend dungeon at the hour 13 mark. Should blitz through here, probably not checking more than the one chest by the vampire.
Probably not.
Salty going for Mirage, and he's not even checking Mirage 1, so he's happy with his gear.
Although Salty will have to dive not only Earth, but also will have to go back and finish Ice again.
Yes. Yeah, but at least he's got the knowledge of that. Like, he's deduced long since, diving multiple previous dungeons. He's just trying to route it as efficiently as possible, and this was closer, I think, having just come from Sea Shrine. Yeah, and so we're starting to talk about what the gap is between the runners in chat. saltyphry is a full Fiend dungeon behind, basically, and Sky is the longest one. Additionally, he does need to go back to Ice without Warp or Exit. Ice without Warp or Exit and getting through some of those annoying spike tiles, probably going to take him about 4 or 5 minutes. Sky here, he's also got a good 4 or 5 minutes left in. And Thunderclaude is close to finishing Earth, so we will probably see about a 10-minute delay, which is more than a Temple of Fiends wipe. Thunderclaude probably needs to wipe once late and then once again early in order to even up this race, potentially.
I will also say, was Exit learnable on the Red Wizard, though?
No, it was in a very low slot at level 5.
Okay. Also, I think Salty wants the item... That one, was it? I think that was the Aegis Shield.
Yeah, so saltyphry, he
Flame Shield.
has had the tail, right? He had the tail coming out of Waterfall, immediately went to Sea, but then he could have routed in promotion between Sea and Sky if he really wanted it, and he would start picking up magic charges on the Knight and potentially on the Ninja, but he does not seem to care enough. I think he might be saying that promotion is a thing he needs to cut to save time against his opponent, who, with Mazza in hand, in route, and a required dungeon, probably also is cutting promotion.
And Thunderclaude not even checking the vampire chest. Cool. Checking the single chest before the vampire, but not the vampire chest.
So what you're seeing there is Thunder's conserving steps, but not time, right? The forced encounter takes longer, but the steps that you have to walk left from the vampire, that adds like 4 total steps to your dungeon route, might end up giving you an encounter anyway, so it's kind of a toss-up, I guess. I would rather take the 2 steps than the guaranteed encounter, because unless you get a fight in Lich's room, you didn't need those 4 steps.
I mean, Thunder definitely counting his encounter tiles and definitely doing a very good job of that as well.
Yeah, I think when it comes to getting this deep into a dungeon, you're already like multiple iterations through the table. It's really hard to track that kind of stuff in your head. But regardless, Thunderclaude is pulling his 4th Fiend. Lich 1 here gets one shot by the Maza, pretty predictable, as it did over his vanilla HP.
I mean, I do know a few runners that will make notes of that one. I will state this: Will Bluntworth famously went to like 50 during one of the during one of the showcase races a while back. Basically, went 50 encounters deep into the encounter table just because they wanted to know that much.
So, yeah, it's possible. Back before we used to shuffle encounter rarity, it actually made sense to scout the specific encounters in the table. But as far as the steps go, you know all the steps after you've seen 8 fights, 9 fights technically. But Thunderclaude is in Temple of Fiends Revisited at the hour 17 mark. He did one cheeky check in the bottom right of TOF Keylocked. Check the spike tile in case he needed a backup grind, and maybe, one more shot at a ribbon. But he's in here. He's got a Stoned Black Mage. I actually really like this approach. Stoned Black Mage is not going to take any damage from enemies, but will be a nice backup to bring up for a fight like Kraken without having to waste a life charge.
And also considering that he does have the soft spell, it's really simple and easy to actually erase it.
Yep. saltyphry on the Bridge of Destiny has not seen Warmech. Not sure if he would take it. Two-character Warmech is kind of risky, but regardless, he's going to be pulling Tiamat 1 in just a couple seconds here.
Probably on a different part of the encounter table. And saltyphry on Tiamat 1, as you stated. So let's see. 5 hits, 319 damage, casting fast on that fighter. Casting Fade as well. Fade for 100. Fighter, 10 hits, 455, and Tiamat 1 goes down.
Yeah, that was a really slick fight there. Tiamat 1 did not roll high on the defensive stats, so basically let's call it 3 swings of Maza, because 1 and then 1 fasted was enough to get all the way through it. Thunderclaude finds a giant encounter on the spike tile here where the Phantom normally sits in Temple of Fiends. Gonna nope out of that, of course. Checking these chests, he does not have that second ribbon. Hoping beyond hope, but he only gets gold. saltyphry back in Ice Cave, like we know he needs to do. He's going to need to full double loop this in order to get his incentive and get out.
And
but he's going to be able to skip
up
everything
that
else.
thief.
Thunder got decked by something there. His fighter is down to 105.
He did not heal that after getting hit a little while back in Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Yeah, so what Thunder's doing here... Yeah, what he's doing here is he's saving time. He's not going to menu to heal potions except for the characters that absolutely must stay alive, and that's his Life 2 casters. Then he can just use Life 2 to pick up any dead party members and heal them to full immediately.
Yes, which is something that is a huge time save and very, very, very well worth it if you have the wherewithal to actually remember to do that.
Alright, just 2 swings there takes down the worm, so a little bit of extra experience there. Oh, Frosties have Blizzard, that's vanilla! He's resisting it, but now he needs to either get away or AoE this down. I don't think he's going to try to run, he's going to go for the Fade, it's higher % chance. But if this turn doesn't do it, 146, 92, not enough, 112, not enough, he only takes down 2. I think okay, the glance won't hit, he's got a ribbon. He needs turn order here and another glance, but he gets physical and he wipes. So
God.
Maybe like 2 minutes down. He wasn't deep.
He was just before the Earth floor, if I recall.
Yeah, I think he came in at 117, so 3 minutes, but still not bad. saltyphry gets a little bit of time back, but is still more than Earth Cave away, so he's going to need to do second loop through Ice, and then do all of Earth. So I think Thunderclaude still has about a full Topher lead on saltyphry.
Finally picking up their bottle.
Yeah, which does have to be delivered back to the ferry, so that's kind of out of the way too. So, given the fact that Blizzards came out and wiped a bunch of his party members, now you'll see probably Thunderclaude take a more conservative approach and heal up before passing through the floor that has the Frost Dragons. I don't think that's necessarily an encounter you need to route out through, soft resets or encounter manipulation. You just prepare a little bit better, and the fighter should be able to tank up around Blizzards.
Very true, very true. Unless you somehow manage to get a full pack and very bad turn order.
Yeah, he's actually not going to take the metal slimes this time around. I think he was fading them on his first time through. Might want to conserve charges, though. Maybe he's thinking that he'll need to fade the Frost Dragons, and so this is a trade-off of taking the Frost Dragon fight versus taking this metal slime fight.
Very, very true. Although, trying to figure, would the Frost Dragons have about the same AXP as the Slimes, or would the Slimes have more than the Frost Dragons, depending on the size we see?
Honestly, their HP would be comparable, but metal slimes come in larger packs, so ultimately it's a better experience fight. But I think he's mostly just considering like efficiency per fight as well as conserving resources. So what can he get to the end of TOFR with the most fades by killing or not killing?
Very, very true. Very true.
saltyphry hits go mode at the 122 mark. He's got his key in hand, one orb left to light. This could still be a close race based on how this TOFR goes for Thunderclaude. Back our nemesis is the 6-hit chimeras that had paralysis touch. Thunderclaude gets away though.
Yep, and running into a 4-pack of Earth. Not dealing that much as far as damage goes, but still on the Earth floor now.
Oh no! He's gonna see the Fire 2 for the first time this whole seed. Thankfully, it's resisted on 2 characters. He's got Ice Armor and he's got a Ribbon, so this shouldn't be as bad as it was for saltyphry back in the Ice Cave. The Lit 3 and Fade will take these out. Gurmaduses are pretty low HP in general, so not the scary encounter we thought it would be an hour ago.
Yes, but also picking up some decent EXP from that fight.
saltyphry is about halfway through the Earth Cave. He's on the Vampire floor. Thunderclaude continues to progress. He's kind of doing a run-fade-run option here, not fully committing to the fight, but one fade charge will pick up another couple thousand experience.
And I do like the play of choosing, the queuing up a run as well as the damage. It's generally the reverse, where you'll queue up 3 runs and 1 party wipe spell, and Thunderclaude is on his Lich 2.
So, somewhat disrespectful of Lich, though it's fine because he's going to be able to pump out a lot of damage. But yeah, he didn't heal up the Red Mage to full, so the Red Mage actually wipes to the Ice 3. Thankfully, Lich is one-roundable, but Lich can have like a first turn nuke, in which case you'll want to max out the HP on all your characters, especially the sensitive ones like the mages. He got away though, so not punished this time. He's going through Carrie's floor pretty quickly actually. He's only gotten the 1 encounter, second one here.
And if I recall correctly, doesn't Lich normally have a one of the nuke charges in the pool for the Fiends in vanilla?
Yeah, Lich is contributing 2 nukes and Chaos has the other one. But they've all been shuffled, as is the case for most Final Fantasy Randomizer seeds. We're going to pull Carrie here, who could open with one of those nukes for all we know. Could also see a Nuclear, haven't seen any really much in the way of spells or skills yet. Slow 2 is on Warmech, and Lich had Ice 3, that's all we know.
And fasting up that fighter, 10 hits, 512 damage. Carrie starting up with Ice 2, hitting for 50. I could not see out of that one, but
another low roll fiend and a free round with basically just an AoE elemental spell, so pretty easy to resist, don't take much damage, and we're onto the water floor. While saltyphry bowls over over Lich 1 rather, and lights his 4th orb. So Salty's going to be in TOFR. After doing his maybe last minute cleanup, heal potions, that sort of stuff, he's going to be about 6 minutes behind, 6.5, let's call it.
And Thunder's on their way to Carry 2, as you said. Avoiding those water fights. Let's see, almost there. Passing by the graves of the Elf Warriors, the original ones that tried to stop the Fiends.
All right, so not much prep time for saltyphry. Not even going to wait. Actually, are his characters? Oh, he resurrected the thief for some run chance, but the black mage apparently not even worth it, even though it can cast fast. But regardless, he's entering TFR at the 126.30 mark, so indeed about 6 minutes behind Thunderclaude's last dive attempt. Thunderclaude is on Kraken 2, leads off with a Mazza, doesn't get the fast off first turn. His red mage has already been punched, 10 hits, 7-11. He really needs to get some evasion stacks up to make sure he survives this fight. Doesn't want to get back road. Actually, the back row is the only row now, so he just needs to kill this Kraken. Both the top two characters are down, and he's dealt about 600-700 damage. Ooh, Knight takes 3/4 or more of its HP and only deals 103 in return. The Fade comes out, high roll Fade, nearly max, 318. He's out of Fades though, so he's just going to have to go with maybe... He does a physical attack with the White Mage, so not really a great turn there. Could have maybe tried to cure the fighter, but it wouldn't have mattered. Fighter's down, the White Mage has no offense, he's going to physical attack and just wipe. So saltyphry suddenly takes a lead.
Wow. That's a huge thing.
Okay, so let's talk about why this happened. saltyphry checked Cardia before doing his other stuff when he was in the air. Thunderclaude pushed, didn't go to Cardia to get a ribbon and a defense sword, and also didn't promote to get Ruse on the Knight. Of course, neither did saltyphry. saltyphry, with the defense in hand, in a really good position to get through a highly physical Kraken. If he can get some turn order there, he just needs to cut down those 10 or 11 hits or so to like half of that, and the Knight or the fighter should be tanky enough to survive.
More than likely, what he will do is, if he doesn't make it the first time, he'll immediately switch to the defense sword up, the fighter, basically go full-blown defense on the fighter, and hopefully have that last.
Yeah, and Thunderclaude's adjustment here, without the defense, he's probably going to cast Invis 1 just every single turn on his fighter, or alternately maybe go for max evade on the red, like we were seeing against Tia 1, because the red can ruse itself and deal damage. That might be the way out, but you're banking at that point on there not being high damage non-elemental AoEs coming out from Kraken as well.
I mean, that does actually make a good, play to that one, since keeping that red mage alive does guarantee... red mage has life 2, right?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Because saltyphry's been reviving his thief all game, and he never promoted. So
basically, keeping that red mage alive, putting it in the 4th slot is probably your best option as an insurance policy.
Yeah, it's suddenly become the most valuable character, like we were foreshadowing, thanks to how Thunder played the TL1 fight. But saltyphry already pulling Lich 1. He's going to find that this is probably a 1 to 2 round fight for him. The Ice 3 doesn't even come out Lich physicals, so that Thief is going to live it through this round, and saltyphry will 1 round Lich 1.
Yep. And that Thief gaining another level and is now at 11.
So it's interesting to see that the two different approaches for these runners. saltyphry kind of took the snowball approach, or like the avalanche approach, where he started small early, he was having trouble, he was getting that 2-man party off the ground, really struggling in Volcano and Ice, but because he built up levels over time, because he was a little bit more thorough with his checks, he's suddenly a force to be reckoned with here in the endgame, and we could see him bowl his whole way through TOFR, whereas Thunderclaud was more thorough early, but then has been cutting corners in the late game, like avoiding the Cardia checks and not promoting, so it's already cost him a foot race lead, and now if he doesn't overtake saltyphry in TOFR here based on his 4 party member advantage, we could see an upset. Not an upset, but a come from behind victory rather by saltyphry, who is about... he's almost fully 1 fiend ahead, but he's not quite taken care of Carry 2 yet. He'll need another round. Thunderclaude was able to 1 round Lich 1 again.
With great turn order too, I might add, with just a swing of that one. Ooh, Cure 4!
Okay, so
that's
Cure
a huge
4,
side relief.
Yeah, so it is and it isn't. What happened here is that Cure 4 coming out before saltyphry could finish off Carry 2 means that he's still in the fight and needs to re-deal all that damage, and it's giving Thunderclaude time to catch up. If Thunderclaude doesn't see the Cure 4, then he's actually going to pull even, or almost even with saltyphry, who just finished off Carry 1. They're like 30 seconds to maybe 45 apart at most, and it's really going to come down to what random encounters they get and how much time these fiend fights each take.
Very, very true. Very, very true.
Wow. Just, I'm just in awe of how close this has gotten. Like, I'm on the edge of my seat here. Have to drink a lot of water because of how tough this is to call. But Thunderclaude through carry 2. They're on the same floor. Saltyphry stuck in. He's stunned on his best runner, the thief in the back row. So he's actually stuck in the seafood party platter pack.
And honestly, at least happy the Seafood Party Platter pack does not have Sea Trolls with Nuke, as I saw that in an earlier seed, and that party, when it's really hard to run away from, that can be very dangerous.
Yeah, and Saltyphry, with less healing resources, no White Mage, he's spending time here in his menu heal potioning. He's actually now lost the foot race lead to Thunderclaude, who's going to pull Kraken first. So is Kraken going to gatekeep either of them? Because if they both get through, I like Thunder's chances a little bit better the rest of the way, given his member advantage.
Although Salty getting through there, opting to set up stuff, and of course putting the putting the Masa on the red mates, as I think we both said, having that red mage alive is basically going to be his damage dealer.
Wow, so he didn't even put a weapon on the fighter. He's just going to wait, not going to bother like putting on a dragon sword or curls or going for critical hits. Rusing immediately, fasting immediately, and I think this is going to be an Invis 1. Yeah, so already 3 stacks of evasion on the red mage for Thunderclaude. The fighter's down after a single round. He was just there to take a hit. We're going to go to max evade right here, ruse, and another cast of Invis. Yeah, or no, actually a fade. Okay, so a little bit more aggressive. Gonna go with just the 5 stacks of evasion. Nuclear is in the skill list for Kraken. It's the first skill. We didn't see that the first time from Thunderclaude. Saltyphry just lost his Black Mage, and the Thief is down on one knee. He's gonna counter with a heal 3, though, to get his characters back into safe territory, but he's gonna start needing to deal damage. And, oh man, Inferno's in the skill list. That is the highest damaging elemental AoE in the game. If it's not resisted, it does massive damage. Okay, he's gonna go Power Gauntlet here. So Saltyphry not stacking the evasion that he'll need to survive the physical hits. He hasn't seen those big cracks for 10, 11 hits. 12, in fact, over 1,000 damage. Needs the defense right now or he's going to wipe. He gets the turn order on the defense. All right, he takes 5 hits, so we've halved the attacks coming in from Kraken. Thunderclaude's got a Cure 3. Missed, thankfully, from Kraken. Saltyphry wipes. We've got 141 HP on this Red Wizard, or Red Mage rather, to get through. He's dealing decent damage, 321 there, 293 from one hit with the Maza. Takes it out, Thunderclaude makes it through. He can life back his party, and he has a chance to beat TOFR this time. Saltyphry's making adjustments. He's going to go for levels and magic.
That is a huge Kraken 2 for Thunderclaude.
Yeah, 12 hits. We didn't even see full 12 roll the first time, I think. It was looking like 10 or 11, but that was thanks to some evasion. He was dodging a hit or two. Wow.
And that Kraken 2 has a very dangerous skill list.
Yeah, Nuclear straight into Inferno. Jeez.
And Thunderclaude getting to this Tier 2 fight. Starting with Fast. Then, that's what that was. Opting for Wall on the fighter on that one. Locking down TF. Not that much of a damage-wise. 3 hits, 15 damage, so it looks like Tier 2 rolled a decent amount of Absorb.
Yeah, I like the slower approach here and relying once again on the fighter for the consistent DPS. Tiamat does not often roll the kind of damage that Kraken does. He's locking, he's invising, so he's doing small buffs to himself and small debuffs to Tiamat. I'm going to try and spare out his resources here. No temper available to buff up the fighter, just that Power Gauntlet for raising attack. The Maza is still, he needs to get that Power Gauntlet going. 5 hits, 20 damage, not going to cut it.
Tia has a lot of absorbs today.
Oh, actually, is the Power Gauntlet on the Red Mage still?
I think it might be. Fire 3 comes out.
So this could go south if the HP totals get low and he gets nuked, but for now he's safe-ish. Okay, he's curing up. Oh, and there comes a Nuclear, non-elemental. High rolls on the Red Mage and on the fighter, and the Cure 3 comes out on the Red Mage who's dead, so thankfully the Knight is able to finish it off there with 500 damage.
So we've seen 2 of the 3 nuclears in the pool. And,
actually, will come from Warmech, so we still could see 2 more nuclears on Chaos for all we know, and we haven't seen a single nuke.
No, and God, I hope it's not. As a commentator, I'm hoping for nuclear, nuke for Chaos's first 2 skills and Chaos's last two, first two spells, because there's only one Cure 4 in the pool, so they don't have to worry about that at the very least.
Yeah, I don't know. They've been through enough. This has been a hard seed with a lot of wipes and a lot of bad spike tiles, and that Kraken 2 that killed them both. I would just like to see them have a successful run, and Thunderclaude about to do that. He is one Iron Goal fight, unrunnable, away from getting onto Chaos's floor at the hour 36 mark. This has been a tough, hard-fought race so far. Thunderclaude absolutely can pull it out. He's got the levels and gear to do so. Only disadvantage is no defense sword, no temper, but I think he's going to make the gear adjustments here. Going to once again to the Red Mage, who's got the power bonk and the opal bracelet, a ribbon, and pro ring equipped. So is as strong as it can be. This is the setup. This is how he wins. I like this. It protects against a high physical chaos. It doesn't protect so much against a high AoE chaos, though, because the HP pool about 200 less for the Red Mage. Here goes. 137 pulls chaos, waits with the fighter, fasts with the black mage, goes for a ruse immediately, and a looking like Invis 2 immediately. So we're going to have 2 rounds here to max the evasion out on the red mage. It's at 325 HP right now. Lit 2 comes out. That's a pretty free round spell. It's resisted by some of the party and doesn't roll that much damage either way. Fighter's still waiting, so not going to be contributing any damage to this fight. Power Gauntlet to start getting physical attacks stronger for the red mage. Lock to lower Chaos's evasion. Easy to hit. The Invis 2 is going to finally cap out. Actually, he won't cap out the evasion. We're at 4 stacks because he opted for the Power Gauntlet. We're only at 4 stacks on the red mage. That might be noteworthy. He's going for another Invis 2. That's going to get us to 5 on the Red Mage. Red Mage does respectable damage, 7 hits for over 430. So if this Chaos is low to average HP, we're on a path to victory already. But if it's high HP, we could get much deeper into the spell and skill lists. Invis 2, Zap comes out. That might knock out... No, nobody dies. Even though we only have 1 ribbon on the Red Mage, nobody dies to Zap. Time Elemental, instant death. Thankfully, our Red Mage still full HP from that Cure 3. Lands 8 hits for over 360 damage. All the attacks going on the fighter. So no danger of crits happening to the Red Mage. Not as good of a hit there. Only 5 hits for 220 or so damage. Cure 3 keeping it up. He's just going to be casting these heals every turn. Actually waiting. He's all in on the physical attacks now. The Red Mage's got to do it, and he does! 8 hits, 745 damage. Chaos is down. Terminated for Thunderclaude. Finishes in first place with an hour, 38 minutes, and 46 seconds as his official SRL time. Get out your GGs in chat for Thunderclaude. What a race.
Yes, agreed. What a race on that one. Kraken 2 and Tia 2 being gatekeepers of this seed. Oh no, and on Salty's side, his Red Mage has gone down to Kraken 2, so it's going to all come down to his fighter to survive. Oh god, and that Black Mage's getting hit for well over 1200 damage.
Ouch. So saltyphry wiped, and it looks like he's either going to take levels, maybe check for some extra gear, or otherwise look for an alternative way through this TOFR, but he's sticking with it despite already seeing the loss come in with Thunderclaude finishing ahead of him, so definitely appreciate him sticking it out. But meanwhile, we are joined in the booth by Thunderclaude. GG, and congrats on moving to 4-1.
Thanks.
So how about that carry 2?
Or
sorry,
Kraken 2?
Kraken 2. Yeah, sorry.
All good. Yeah, wow. I don't know, man. This was everything about the seed was just weird. It felt like I was going very slow, but that Kraken 2 being slap happy, it was only a matter of time before I ran into one of those, and there he was.
Yeah, good news for you is if it was bad for you, it was bad for saltyphry. You both had a lot of bad luck with the spike tiles, whether it was getting ambushed, getting bad turn order, not being able to run, both in Ice Cave and in Volcano. He had more trouble in Ice because he saw a spike tile you didn't that was full of Fire 2 Gurmedusas, whereas you wiped, I think, more times trying to get the Volcano incentive.
Yeah, wiping in Volcano to the tiles there, I kind of felt bad, but kind of like what you said, they were bad enough tiles that I figured he was going to have at least one wipe too. So I didn't feel too bad until like my third try, then I felt kind of bad. and then wiping out an ice cave didn't feel too bad either, because I was kind of quick to get back to where I wiped. But man, this is just a weird seed to play. I danned my black mage, which is something that almost never happens, and then kind of relied on my red mage to do all the damage, which is again something that I don't usually do, which is, is just all weird.
We were super excited to see that strategy come out from you. Can you go through a little bit your not only your Tiamat 1 fight, but the other times you used the red mage?
Well, other times I use it. It's all kind of a blur at this point. Well, I know for Tia I swapped the Maz over and I was going too fast and didn't do the bonk to my knight, so that kind of felt bad. I did plan to do that and just bonk up my knight, but I did plan on going red mage strats on Chaos just because I only had Ruse on the red mage, and yeah, my knight was probably going to get punched down because I actually kind of forgot that I had Invis 2 on my white mage until I got to Chaos and I saw it. I was like, oh, let me use this. But I don't know, it's just like, I felt like the only thing that was safe was putting the Maz on the red mage.
I'd have to agree that was a good move on your part. Though Salty does have the defense sword, which ended up being in the Cardia Islands, which he checked as he managed to get the floater just a tiny bit before you, as was the second ribbon. We never did find a third, though.
Yeah, talk about ordeals providing. It gave me, I was swinging a large dagger and a great axe for like 90% of the seed, and then I finally got to Temple of Ordeals and found the Masmoon and then the ribbon in there. I was like, okay. I kind of felt behind from the wipes I had, so I was like, I gotta make this work. I'm just gonna go. And I didn't feel like I needed to promote, even though I probably could have got Ruse on my knight if I promoted before doing the Sky. But I didn't feel it was as important to get.
Yep. And speaking of both ordeals and wiping, so saltyphry started going 2-man strats early, and only when he got bounced hard from a couple of dungeons repeatedly would he bring up his thief, because he ran fighter thief red black, in order to try and get some runs off and get away from those enemies. But he wiped so many times to the thunder medusas and ordeals, and to the stone touch Gurpedes on the forced encounter tile.
Yeah, the forced Gurpedes, they hit hard. They hit my slightly armored red mage for like 137.
They also had what was it? Stone touch?
Yeah,
or
stone
was
touch.
it?
Which and bad touches like that are worse proportionately for a 2-character party.
Oh wow, yeah, I'm glad I didn't see the stone touch.
I mean, you gotta hate the bad touch whenever they give you a bad touch. I think we all don't want to be touched in a lot of ways.
So, there are a couple other intriguing things. Again, like, things were bad for both of you, a lot of wipes. You were in the air later, but it didn't matter because of how early the loose items came.
Yeah, that was... When I found the canoe, I was like, sweet! But then as soon as I said that, I was like, dang, now I have to go to Volcano and Ice Cave, which I hate doing early, but yeah, had to make it work. And when I found the crown and Ice Cave, I was like, oh, this is awkward. I'm pretty much no mode, but I don't have any gear at all to do Topher.
Yep, and Ordeals provided not just with the elite items you noticed, but also the ice armor, which frankly, that's good enough to win on the night.
I forgot about that one. Yeah, the ice armor was a big upgrade. Then my kind of greed check and Earth Cave gave me the flame shield to complement it. I was mostly just checking that to get a good EXP tile, which didn't happen.
Yeah, actually, we saw a cool adjustment. So your armor wasn't great going through Sea Shrine, which you did before Ordeals. You moved a gold bracelet onto your fighter in the top slot over the iron armor to get the evade bonus.
Yeah, it was just a little bit of something I could have done, and I don't know if it really would have mattered, but I did it.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, and also chat wanted to ask, you were doing some pretty aggressive encounter and step manipulation this game, including maybe on the ocean. Were you purposefully burning off encounters on the ocean before getting onto the land?
Yes, because I realized early that it was my good run came after the 4th encounter between 4 and 5. So, but the boat only hit 1 encounter, and then it gave me all those runs mixed together. So anytime I could take advantage of swinging my boat back and forth a few times to burn off the quote-unquote 3rd encounter, get that 4th run, I did it.
Nice. God, a lot of other high level play. It's going to be a fun VOD to watch back, of course, to both see the contrasts in your approaches, but also just kind of revisit everything that went by in the blur, like you were talking about. Thankfully, you only wiped, I think, the one time in TOFR. saltyphry did wipe twice on Kraken 2, which is what inspired him to go promote and then do this grind here.
Well, I did wipe to 4 Frost Dragons my first dive, which really felt bad. I was like, oh, I'm just going to life 2 up my knight. I'm not going to heal him. Then Frost Dragons happened.
That 2 minutes or so came while saltyphry was still clearing out Earth Cave, so you still had the lead at that point, but he was ahead of you in the foot race the second time through, rather after your Kraken wipe. But then you overtook him on the Kraken floor thanks to him having to use heal pots when you were able to just get past the encounters.
Oh wow, so it was a really, really close race.
Yes, it was, until Kraken 2.
Yeah, Kraken 2 was not playing nice. I mean, I guess I only saw, I think, what, was it Nuke or Nuclear? I don't remember. I only saw that once, and he didn't do anything after it, which I should probably count my blessings, because he probably would have wiped my party if he did something else.
Do you want to know what his next skill was?
Nuclear?
Inferno.
Oh yeah, that probably would have did it, because I was in like the very low double-digit HPs after that Nuclear.
Yep, so even resisting Inferno is still going to do a pile of damage. saltyphry, it adjusted to 3 character strats, at least to spread some damage around for a lot of the run, but the Black Mage, just like yours, has been on the floor, because the first 3 levels of Magic were so bad, you were looking at a lit 3 bot, basically.
Yeah, the first 3 levels were atrocious, and then you finally find lit 3 at level 4, but it's level 4, so you're not really going to have charges for it for a while, and just kind of a pain to menu every fight you want to use it too.
And also, considering that Fade was level 2, that... Was it level 2? I think it was level 2. Considering that, you basically had your damage dealers, right then and there with your white and red mates.
Yeah, that was kind of the deciding factor. I was like, alright, I can make the Danning Black Mage work. But I was really worried about my levels, because I think I was doing Earth Cave, and I couldn't remember exactly what level I was when I was walking through. I thought I was level 20. I was like, oh gosh, I'm like my 4th orbit level 20. I don't like this. But I think I was actually like 22, and then I just took some fights in Topher to get 24.
Yeah, I saw you hit 24 on the broadcast, but there was like so much going on, I don't think I called it out. It was like right before Lich 1, or Lich 2 rather.
Yeah, and I kind of really hated it. I almost exited out after my first time taking a bunch of fights to hit 24. But I was like, I'll be fine. I wasn't fine. I had to take those fights 3 different dives, and it felt really bad.
Yeah. So saltyphry re-entered Temple of Fiends Revisited at the hour 48 mark. He ground so much on the mages and fighters in Earth that he's got a mid-30s fighter, or knight rather, they're promoted and got magic. So he's at the point where he's going to be swinging the Maza 6 times, should have a much easier go of it. I think this dive is going to be the one. He wants to make this seed pay.
I mean, he was able to get that thief up and swinging the katana for some extra damage. Well, let's see if he can get away from these bad men fights. And having to take the reset there.
Yeah, this, even the random encounters, right? Like TOFR, you're getting revisits of things you already knew were bad from encountering them early, plus bad men are just always terrible. Nothing was really friendly about the seed other than the loose item placement. Everything else, I'm just gonna go ahead and say sucked. I guess Chaos's HP was kind of low, that was a bit of a blessing.
Yeah, it was, and Tia also wasn't all that bad. I just didn't have the bonk to buff up enough to take him down fast.
Right, yeah, that was just an artifact of like, you needed the bonk on the red mage the previous fight, and then you were switching back to fighter as primary DPS, but then didn't make the equipment swap.
Yeah.
Which I have to say, I applaud, realizing that the red mage had to be your damage dealer. I mean, I'm a huge fan of, realizing that a red mage can carry when it needs to carry, as far as damage output goes. So it's glad to see, someone actually, do that and realize that they had to do that.
Yeah, there was just someone in our Discord. By the way, our Discord full of wonderful people, and it's great, full of resources for new players if you want to come join. Someone in our Discord today posted a lot of breakpoints. I think that was saltyphry posted breakpoints for many weapons on different characters. And Red Mage, gets a 4th swing of the Maza in like the high 20s. You weren't quite there, but it's worth noting that if you need to carry with a Red Mage, that can sometimes be a path to victory.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good when you realize that's your best strategy, but you can make it work.
Absolutely.
And Salty about to get into his Lich 2 fight again.
Yeah, it was funny because I was actually, if I would have had Ruse on the White Mage, I probably would have did the same strats with the White Mage, but I didn't buy it. I filled up with other magic. And the whole time I was doing this, I was thinking of Minochi, 85. He used to do the White Mage with Maza to get through Topher a lot, too. Then when I did Red Mage, I was like, oh, I've seen Crab Cakes do this. I can emulate this.
Yeah, Minochi 85, veteran runner, not in this tournament this year, but definitely well known by the community and has contributed to the game too. So the other thing I was going to say, as the White Mage has come up as a topic of conversation multiple times, your White Mage got Exit. It was white locked, and that was relevant because it got you out of some dungeons way faster than saltyphry.
Yeah, I definitely picked up the Melma as soon as I did, and since I did Ice Cave and Volcano, I was high enough level that I could make use of it right away. So that's why I did Waterfall before Ordeals, because I kind of just was going to do the whole vicinity check and make the trip to turn into Floater faster after doing Ordeals.
Yeah, as far as not doubling back on your steps too much, your route was very efficient. The only time you really broke that was to go check out the herb, which you invested so much time in getting the herb. Of course you're going to make that check, but it led you to a Womp Womp fetch quest chain.
Oh, I see the question in chat from Steel Golem. Why did I do the silly ship sailing? Because I knew I was going to turn in the bottle after I got the floater, and then I was going to do the slab. And I knew on the boat, if I would have ran a few extra steps, I would have gotten between the 3rd and 4th encounter, which was, that one, or the 4th, 5th, whatever. Would have got to my giant run by the time I docked off my airship and went over to Lefane, which, if you paid attention, I ran all the way from airship landing all the way down to Lefane just about without an encounter.
Oh, and I might add, that was 12 hits on the Masa for Carry 2.
Just absolutely massive here. That is a very strong, very beefy, very tanky knight. saltyphry just giving Carry 1 the business, or Carry 2 rather, who was taking multiple rounds the first time through, so not even breaking a sweat. However, how is this Kraken going to go? Is he going to back row the knight? Is he going to be stacking defense? I think he will be.
I think we'll at least see one cast of Fast, and then Defense Sword, at least for the first round. Or if he really wants to go cheeky, he'll go full Power Bonk into Fast, and just hope for like the ungod amount of hits.
Yeah, but this was a high evasion Kraken, so even a fasted Maza here might only hit like 3 or 4 times, which could be a little spooky if you're trying to get out damage quickly. Alright, gonna bring up the poor little 98 HP Black Mage as a meat shield. But I was about to say it could contribute. It's gonna give a 6%er break, so maybe the Black Mage could still be the hero. Going for the Power Bonk immediately on the Knight. Oh god, that was destroyed. That was brutal. It was violent. That was 12 hits for like 1300 damage on the poor Black Wizard, who's down on the ground again. Didn't go for defense the first round. I think he's thinking the better of it, and he's gonna take time to do his buffs.
Yeah.
Red Mage gone. That is the life caster, so we're doing 49 damage with the we're gonna need to solo mode this with the Knight. Hopefully, Ninja takes the hits here. 4 stacks of evasion, coming up to 6 if he gets turn order. So saltyphry's Knight is max evade.
Nuclear.
Yeah, Nuclear not going to do much to that big HP pool, and we're getting some real hits in. 5 hits for a ton of damage. Inferno going to bounce off that resisted, so this should be in the bag for him, but he's going to have to solo mode it the rest of the way, and it'll be a fun show to call. Thunder is the next skill after Inferno, but we won't see the 4th one as saltyphry has finished it out against the Kraken 2. Level 36 off that fight, so gets even stronger.
Thunder, I gotta ask, what are you looking forward to with your next week's match?
Hopefully winning so I don't have to try to do the play-in race. But as we all know, this is getting to the last week of Swiss, and you're pretty much paired up with people in the equal level skill as you, so nothing's going to be a free pairing at all. And you have to fight hard for whoever you get paired up next week, no matter what ranking you are.
Yep, everything from around 3 or so onwards has been super even. We had a really, really hotly contested race just last night, and then again today here between people in the higher win brackets. I think you were probably the favorite coming into this from a number of community members who know you to be a top tier runner of the new school, but of course saltyphry's got the history. He was top 4 in spring 2018 tournament, so old school versus new school, he was showing a bit of that bite that he still has and was like step for step for you at one point, so could have gone either way, and that's just how dangerous the late rounds of these Swiss matches are going to be. But saltyphry handles Tier 2 fairly easily, only losing about 200 HP in the process.
And we'll be on their way to Chaos right now. After this event.
Thank God he got initiative on that due to being so high level on the night. And he's going to take some Rockles, because why not? Let's go one-shot these 3 things and maybe get a let-up lot.
Most definitely.
Alright, and yep, that's worth a level, 37. Doesn't hit any new breakpoints, but it's a little bit more MDef and a lot more HP. This is a strong boy. Let's have him finish it out here. Everyone, get out your give energy, or is it give please? No, take energy. Yeah, get out your take energies and your bless RNGs and chat all those global Twitch emotes to make sure saltyphry has what it takes to get through this chaos fight. We're working with an HP pool of over 760 with only Ice 2 and a Mist coming up from chaos so far. You want to call this the rest of the way, Mages?
Sure thing. 3 stacks of defense sword, first shot for the power bonk, second shot, chaos is completely missing now, third stack, power bonk, more than likely just going for the one shot here. It finally starts to attack. Let's see, 5 hits, 846 damage, 4 hits, 760 some, stopped ineffective, zap ineffective, swings again, 5 hits, 605 damage, and saltyphry has taken down Chaos. Get your GGs in chat.
Yes, that is an official SRL time of 1 hour, 58 minutes, 37 seconds, so slays the beast, comes back, gets his revenge in under 2 hours, thankfully, because what a chore that seed was.
Especially that Kraken 2.
And we are joined in the booth by saltyphry. GG on a hard-fought finish.
Thanks, GG.
GG saltyphry, sorry.
So, we're just going to let you vent if you need to, or give freeform thoughts, because you've been through a lot. Tell us about that seed, saltyphry.
Yeah, at the beginning there, it was kind of rough, kind of fighting through everything. Like, after a while, it kind of felt like it started to kind of fall into place reasonably well eventually. And then I kind of ran into Kraken 2 a few times, but I guess based on what happened in that last playthrough, I should have just gone defensive strats from the beginning and maybe it would have worked out. But yeah, you know what? These kind of seeds happen every once in a while. It's Final Fantasy Rando, so stuff's never going to go good all the time here. If you expect that, you're playing the wrong game, that's for sure.
Yep.
So let's talk on some of the big points of the seed, some of the things that really shaped your run in the long run as well as in the early game. Tell us about your 2-character leveling strategy.
Well, that basically came down to the fact that there was pretty much nothing for black magic for the most part, so I wasn't planning on anything like that. Usually I'd just going to do a 3-man party with red, black, and a fighter and kind of kill off the thief. But there was so little for the black mage to do, so I figured I'd just kill him off as well and just kind of get as much experience on the red mage and the fighter. Like, the red mage at least had fade to make it kind of go all right, so that's kind of where I was coming with that. And then I kept having to res the thief to kind of run around in different places as well, because I realized I wasn't doing very well just kind of getting around because I had limited resources as well. That was kind of a big problem I was running into early on. I found was the limited resources I had on my red mage in terms of being able to kill stuff. that's kind of where all my problems, I think, kind of started and ended, at least. Once I kind of got that taken care of, everything kind of started to fall into place a lot better.
Yeah, the thief, despite the fact that, for a time being alive, it did take experience, was crucial to get past all those terrible spike tiles, and the spike tiles were equally a problem for both of you.
That's why eventually, like, I just decided, all right, I'll take this canal and take this crown out of ice, and just hope maybe I don't have to come back here. Maybe something like the Thor's hammer or the opal bracelet was sitting in there, and I would never have to come back there. Obviously, it didn't work out that way, but yeah, I was just kind of hoping with that, because like it'd gone so terrible at getting in and out of there, and then everything, like kind of green Medusas that have fire too. You get wiped by the lobsters, and I don't even remember what else I died into in there. I'm sure there's other stuff.
And to give you an idea of where you were at relative to Thunder, so you were behind as far as getting into TOFR the first time through. You probably figured that based on how the seed was rolling for you, but you managed to pull even and actually a little bit ahead because he wiped on Kraken 2 as you were like 30 seconds or something, maybe a floor ahead in TOFR, but then you both wiped on the fight. Or sorry, you wiped on the fight the same time that he was then successful getting through at a second try. The 12 hits Kraken with nuclear.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where, like, I usually just kind of go all offense until I've been proven that that's not going to work on most of the fiends. So sometimes you just walk into a fight like that where if you're doing that, you're not going to have a good time at all. So that's just one of those things where I was kind of roadblocked and it's probably never going to go well.
Absolutely. So it's been a long broadcast. I'm going to start moving to final questions here for both of the runners. Thunderclaude, our first place finisher today. What do you feel like? 4-1. You've got one weakless Swiss.
I'm feeling pretty good. I just, can't make any predictions on how next week's going to go until I see the pairings at all, and just going to have to run my race how I normally run it and hope that's good enough.
All right. saltyphry, 3-2. It's a bit of a stumble, but you can still go into brackets through that play-in race if you win next week. How are you feeling?
Obviously, I would have preferred to win, but it's only one loss, so I can still get to where I need to be in the bracket. So, yeah, if I win next week, everything's still all right. So, we'll just keep.
All right, cool. Good to be
In
optimistic.
worst case, if you lose again, you'll be in the last chance qualifier.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. I don't think anyone wants the stress of that race.
I personally wish it was the top two, but
Yeah,
even
so Magius, do you have any final questions for either runner?
I do not at present. I think you both did an excellent job on this seed. Especially with how late the floater was, though. Did you feel behind after you got it?
I think that is directed at Thunder, right? Who was second to floater?
I'm sorry.
Actually, for both of you.
Sorry, I was slightly distracted. Will you repeat it, please?
Sure thing. I was saying, since both of you got the floater, closer to like the 40-minute to 50-minute mark, how did you both feel when you finally got that? Did you feel that you were possibly behind at the time?
I just felt a little behind. I kind of figured saltyphry was also going to have the issues getting to the floater that I had. Maybe I didn't expect them to have them quite to the extent I did. So I did feel maybe just a little bit behind getting it, but not enough that I didn't feel hopeless in catching up.
It definitely wasn't a terrible time at that point in time. I try not to think too much about what my opponent's doing. I've done enough rando tournament races where I found if you think too much about that, it can actually work to your detriment. Instead, you'll start doing stuff that's going to backfire in the long run. You're best to just kind of keep your own mindset and just keep doing your own thing and just kind of battle your way through and hope, like most likely, like especially in Final Fantasy rando, most likely your opponent's going to see a lot of the same stuff you do if there's horrible stuff out there. So he could get lucky in theory and kind of just cruise through and not see anything, but that's kind of unlikely. So I try to not think too much about that and just kind of stick with what's happening and just kind of keep going regardless of how late like a floater is or anything like that.
All right. Well, thank you, Fry, for that veteran wisdom. That's going to be a good note to wrap up the broadcast on. So I'd like to tell everyone out there that we're glad to have you here on Speed Gaming. We've got matches coming up all week on the Speed Gaming networks, as well as on the Randomania and RPG Limit Break networks for the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring 2020 tournament. Goes on. More Fire Week action for you every day. You can check us out in our Discord. Link is in chat. You can follow the runners and the crew from today. Big thanks to my co-commentator Magus, as well as to our tracker Crabcakes, and to the Speed Gaming Network for hosting us. You can also go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com to check out the game and start playing randomized seeds yourself. Hop into Discord, learn how to play. We've got the Duckling program available to teach new runners the game. It's bustling right now. There's a lot of activity, so it's a great time to jump in. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.